everybody. Well, it's Rita Hickman again, and a beautiful, beautiful day. I just love these time of year because I'm able to get outside and really get grounded again. So I'm Rita Hickman, body-mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, and I help women who are in narcissistic or toxic relationships get their head together and get their life together. So I've been doing that for about 12 years, and I actually got into my own personal healing because of my IBS. So at 30, I had such bad IBS that it just, it was destroying pretty much every day. And it was destroying my relationships, and it was destroying how I related to my job. And, it was just really kind of a nightmare. And I'd been living with it for, about 5, 6, 7 years by then. Although I'd had problems with it ever since I was a kid. But when I hit 30, I just, I couldn't take it anymore. And I didn't know what was causing it. And I thought that my physicality was causing all of this anger that I had and frustration. In reality, I discovered that it was a lot of my frustration and a lot of my lack of boundaries and my lack of respect for myself and my lack of love for myself and all of this internal stress that I had that was causing my IBS. And because of that, it really started me on a journey of figuring this stuff out. Now, why am I talking about this today? Because I have been playing with brainwave entrainments. Remember? I've been playing with all sorts of brainwave entrainments. I started with the gamma and the lambda, and those have been a lot of fun. I've been using them in most of my sessions with people, in most of the meditations I'm doing with people. And so I've been doing these brainwave things, and what I'd been noticing after working with them is the next day, typically I had some sort of physical reaction, some sort of cleansing, some sort of clearing that would come up. So I might do a meditation on manifestation, let's say, on YouTube. You can find them. Brain entrainment, it'll play for like an hour, 2 hours, and listen to it while you're sleeping. And I would notice that the next day that I would have some sort of healing experience. Something that would come up that doesn't really come up, except maybe sometimes in crisis, and it was able to bring it to the surface so that I could process through and get support and help for it. So I decided to do, I have to be very mindful about when I plan these, because I want to make sure the next day that I have time to work through anything that comes up. So in my life, the whole issue around money hasn't been that big of a deal. I mean, for whatever reason, money wasn't a concept that I really was ready to tackle. So all of the abundance courses and all of the, make more money, manifest wealth, things like that, I was never drawn to those. Maybe because, like when I was a kid in the Catholic Church, I sat there thinking, abundance is not my problem. My problem are all of these emotional issues I have because of the toxic environment I was raised in and all this healing I need to do. Money is the least thing on my mind. It's nice, but I really got to deal with these emotional issues before I self-destruct. So that's what was always on my mind. So I decided last night, I said, you know what? I'm going to do a money manifestation brainwave entrainment because it had come up as I was scrolling and looking for something fun to listen to while I went to sleep. And so I'm listening to this, and I fall asleep pretty quick. And this morning, I had a reminder of my IBS. I was really, really surprised. And I thought, oh, that's very cool. I have some beliefs around money. That's interesting. And it brought up all of that anger, and it brought up all of that fear and all of that frustration that I had suppressed during those years. See, the interesting thing about the body and the nervous system is that it's not one or the other. We're layers. We're kind of like baklava, and I love baklava. We're kind of like baklava. where it's all these beautiful layers of pastry with honey and nuts and everything else in between, but there's thousands of layers, just like a really good pastry, right? And so that's what our nervous system is like. When we're in different vibrations in our head, different, my phone rang. Sorry about that. Take two. So when we're in different brainwave states, what happens is we're able to tap into different parts of us, different beliefs, different emotions, different ideas that maybe, aren't our highest priority. They've always kind of stayed buried. So we're able to dive into experiences that finding the exact level that we need in that baklava, finding, the exact layer we want to work on. And that's what, brainwave entrainments have been doing, which is kind of fun. So when you start thinking about your own physical issues, the shoulder that's bothering you, the tension headache, the stomach problems, the heart problems, a lot of that is the stress buried in your body, the emotions that you have suppressed down, pushed down into your body, and are now being stored there. And sometimes the only way to access it, as you've noticed, not everything triggers you. That's the cool thing. As you go along your healing path, you'll realize that not everything is triggery. It gets less and less. You're better able to handle the stress of life. You're better able to handle things. So as we keep on this journey together, those triggers will dial down. You'll get less and less and less of them. Because whenever we work on that layer of us, on that nervous system level, on that cellular level, then we're able to dial down another trigger. So sometimes it's fun, in fact it's fun for me, to go exploring. It's super proactive to go exploring for different things that you might want to heal, you might want to look at. Because what these entrainments do is they bring the things up which are causing your physical issues. They're bringing the things up which are reflections of the beliefs and the emotions that you carry about money, about singing, about all sorts of crazy stuff. I watched a seminar through my coaching program, the coaching program that I belong to, last night, and it was on inspired learning. And how when we're in a good space, when we're in an open space, a space where we feel appreciated and heard and valued, we learn 200% better than when we feel criticized or attacked in any way. So it's our body, when we're locked down, when we are reacting to the tapes in our head, our body's reacting too. When we get triggered, our body's being triggered too. And so we have to start looking at those different layers and dealing with them if we want to cure our IBS, if we want to cure our headache. We have to start working on those emotional things. Anything from arthritis to diabetes to fibromyalgia, they're all affected by our internal stress level. They're all directly affected by our internal stress level. And so when you're proactive and you start working on these things and using brainwave entrainments and finding great healers or coaching or whatever it may be, your physical issues start to ease up quite a bit too. And only when you either eat crab rangoon, which I think was the culprit. It might have been, the thing that pushed it over the edge to be like, oh, you still have a problem with this, combined with the brainwave entrainment on money. I thought, oh, wow, look at all this great anger that's coming up for me to process through. Look at all this great fear that's coming up for me to process to. And you are now in a space where you don't get hijacked by how you feel. You've got tools, you've got CBD oil, you've got water, you've got exercise, you've got nature, you've got friends, you've got positive environments. When you have those things in place, you can let yourself dive into these layers and release them because you're not going to get stuck there. When you're like, okay, and that's what happened this morning. I got to a point where I said, all right, okay, I've processed through enough. I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of my stomach bothering me. I'm tired of feeling, contracted and small and feeling trapped, I'm ready to break loose from that. And that's when you get up and take your shower and drink your water and take your CBD oil, and you get outside, get maybe some stretches. You do those things to help pull you out. Chamomile tea, GABA, whatever you use to pull you out. Music. You're now allowed to and are safe enough to explore these things because you know you don't have to stay there. So this morning I used my water, my CBD oil, my shower, my meditation, and I'm sitting outside, and now it's on the other side of it. So all the things that came up triggered by the crab rangoon and the stress of the, my money beliefs, whatever they may be, were able to come up. I could feel them, I could be present to them, and when I was done with them, I could move on. I could go do something else. You don't have to stay there. Suffering is when you think you have to stay in a painful place, and in reality you don't. When pain comes up, you get to process through it. You get to do something else. You get to help it move forward. And once it's gone, once you've triggered it and it's gone, there's less stress on your body. And that's how your body is able to heal itself. That's how it's able to heal the IBS, the heart problems, the headaches, the dizziness, the fibro, the arthritis. This is how your body's able to heal itself, because that toxic load that's been suppressed down is now dealt with. So is it IBS, or is it, the scars and wounds from a narcissist's abuse? Well, it's both for sure. And when you deal with both, when you look at both sides of it, I need to deal with the emotional pieces of it, I need to deal with the physical pieces. And if you're smart, you're proactive and do it on your time, not waiting for something to come punch you in the face. If you're smart, that's when you do it. So when you do that, that's how your life goes forward. That's how you move forward. That's how your body heals. That's how life gets better. That's how you create better friends. And that's how you get unstuck. Okay? So your homework assignment today is to go to YouTube and find a really fun brainwave meditation. One that, you're a little hesitant about because you're like, oh, this might worry me a little bit. And then plan a time where you will have a chance. I like it before bed and then the next morning. Plan a time when you have a chance to then process through any of the emotions that come up. Give yourself some time to let it come up, because it's not immediately. It's usually within 24 hours. So make sure the next day is going to be quieter or slower, or you'll have time to process through, and listen to one. Give yourself a favor. Give yourself a gift, and let yourself process through something that's bugging you, because that is the true path to healing. Okay? So I'm Rita Hickman. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope both videos came up, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? Bye.